الله أكبر بحول الله.
When you hear the name Iran, chances are most of us instantly think of things like Shia Islam, political conflicts, or sensitive issues that often make international headlines. But behind all that, Iran is actually a country rich in history, culture, and religious diversity. With a population of over 90 million people, Iran is one of the most populous countries in the Middle East, and most of its people follow the Shia branch of Islam. The country is currently led by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Since he took power, Iran has been a constant target of negative narratives pushed by Western media, and it's often under the spotlight of international criticism. But did you know that Iran is also one of the boldest countries when it comes to standing up against the dominance of the United States and its allies? In fact, Iran has made it clear that it won't bow to foreign pressure. In this video, we're going to explore the history of how Persia became Iran, take a look at the current strength of Iran's military, and dive into the Shia tradition of Karbala. What's the real story? Let's find out. Just a quick note before we begin. This content isn't about defending Shia beliefs or promoting any particular ideology. We stick firmly to the teachings of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Our goal here is simply to take a closer look at a side of Iran that often gets buried under Western propaganda. For centuries, the area we now know as the Islamic Republic of Iran used to be called Persia. That name is tied to the ancient Persian Empire, which was huge, stretching all the way from the Balkans to the Indus Valley. Back then, most Persian Muslims were Sunni. The big shift from Sunni to Shia Islam started in the early 1500s with the Safavid Dynasty. Its founder, Shia Islam, made Shia the official state religion and pushed it aggressively across Persia. Shia Islam forced a lot of Sunni Muslims to convert to Shia, and in some cities, he even killed those who refused. He also ordered mosques to use the Shia version of the call to prayer and openly criticized the Sunni Caliphate. By the mid-1600s, it's estimated that most people in Iran had switched from Sunni to Shia Islam. 400 years later, in 1935, Shah Ismail's successor, Reza Shah Pahlavi, changed the country's name from Persia to Iran. Pahlavi ruled with an iron fist, keeping all the power to himself and limiting what the parliament could do. He cracked down hard on any opposition or different opinions. Freedom of speech and expression? Super limited. The security forces, like the Safavid, which was basically the National Intelligence and Security Agency, became tools to go after his political enemies. Reza Shah Pahlavi also tried to separate religion from government. He pushed policies that reduced the influence of religious leaders and institutions in public life. He was really inspired by Western-style modernization, especially the secular reforms done by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk in Turkey. So he rolled out a bunch of Western-style changes: legal reforms, education improvements, military strengthening, and infrastructure development. Basically, he adopted Western models for building the country and modern thinking. But his authoritarian leadership style and push against traditional and religious values didn't sit well with a lot of people, especially religious leaders and regular folks. Then, in 1979, a huge revolution rocked Iran. Shah Pahlavi was overthrown, and a new force emerged, one that would change the face of the Middle East forever. The true Shia Iran rose from the ashes and became a powerful resistance axis feared by the West. This revolution was led by a major religious figure, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Under the leadership of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, Iran rose up and transformed into an Islamic republic. A new constitution based on Islamic law was put in place, and the country's priorities shifted dramatically. Instead of pushing for Western-style secular modernization, Iran started focusing on revolutionary Islamic principles and rejecting foreign influence, especially from the United States. This revolution didn't just change things inside Iran. It also turned the country into a major force of resistance that the West came to fear. With its strong anti-imperialist stance and support for resistance movements in other countries, Iran positioned itself as a frontline defender against Western and Israeli dominance. This rise sparked a whole new dynamic in global geopolitics, stirring up tensions and concerns that are still very much alive today. After Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini passed away in 1989, leadership of Iran was handed over to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He's been the supreme leader ever since, continuing the legacy of the revolution and sticking to the core values of the Islamic Republic. Under his leadership, Iran has been navigating the tricky world of international politics, dealing with economic sanctions, and staying a key player in the Middle East. The focus has been on defending its sovereignty and spreading its revolutionary ideology. Right now, Iran ranks 14th out of 145 countries in global military strength. It has one of the largest military forces in the world. According to Global Firepower's 2025 data, Iran has around 610,000 active military personnel, 350,000 in reserve, and about 220,000 paramilitary forces, including the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. That brings the total to roughly 1.18 million personnel, making Iran a serious military power in terms of sheer numbers. Even though Iran's been under heavy international sanctions for decades, the country keeps pushing forward in tech development. In the military sector, they've made big strides in building ballistic and hypersonic missiles, as well as advanced drones. Their nuclear and space programs have also made progress, despite all the international scrutiny and controversy. Beyond defense, Iran's been investing in biomedical research, nanotechnology, and AI, backed by a solid scientific base and a growing number of research publications. Khamenei's leadership puts a strong focus on self-reliance, especially in tech and the economy. This strategy is Iran's way of overcoming limited access to foreign tech and building strong homegrown capabilities. At the end of the day, these moves are all about making sure the country stays safe and secure for its people. Behind the headlines and all the political talk, everyday life in Iran moves to its own unique rhythm, a mix of ancient traditions, deep religious devotion, and touches of modern life. It's a much richer, more layered picture than what most people imagine. Iranians are incredibly warm and social. It's not unusual to be greeted with a big smile, offered a cup of tea, or even invited to dinner by someone you just met. Family and community ties are super strong, creating a solid social safety net that helps people get through tough times. If you're a guest in someone's home, expect to be treated like royalty. The host will go out of their way to make sure you're comfortable, offering food, drinks, and doing everything they can to make you feel like part of the family. Conversations flow easily, and they're often very curious to learn about you and where you're from. Sometimes, they'll even send you off with a small gift as a token of friendship. And if you ever look lost or confused, don't be surprised if someone offers to help you. Maybe even walking out of their way just to guide you, or helping translate if there's a language barrier. Iran also has a rich religious culture, especially as a majority Shia country. One of the most important traditions is the annual commemoration of Ashura during the month of Muharram. Each year, millions of Shia Muslims across Iran mourn the death of Imam Hussein, the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, who was killed in the Battle of Karbala. But this isn't just a religious event. It's a time of deep mourning and reflection. The streets fill with people dressed in black, taking part in emotional rituals like chest beating, called matam, and listening to powerful sermons that retell the tragic story. Some Sunni Muslims see these Shia rituals, like the chest beating, as excessive or not in line with Islamic teachings. While Sunnis also honor the memory of Karbala, they typically mark Ashura with fasting and prayer. Still, many voices across both groups call for mutual respect, seeing the story of Karbala as a universal message about justice and bravery. At the end of the day, Iran continues to see itself as a symbol of resistance in the Middle East, standing firm against what it views as Western and American dominance in the region. By opposing U.S. influence, challenging Israel's policies, and often clashing with Western allies, Iran has carved out a key role on the geopolitical stage. Even under heavy sanctions and constant pressure, Iran hasn't backed down. It stays committed to its revolutionary values, keeps building up its military and homegrown technology, and continues to hold tight to its traditions and national unity.